massive subterranean prison of burning magma and iron where children never see the sky. We spend our entire lives digging in the suffocating heat, feeding endless coal into the massive engines of the elite. My name is Finn, and I have spent my entire 12 years of life covered in this thick, suffocating soot. But today, while aggressively digging near the forbidden eastern tunnels, my heavy iron shovel struck something completely unexpected and strange. Buried deep within the ancient rocks was a beautiful, perfectly preserved mechanical creature made entirely of solid glowing green jade. As I gently wiped away the dirt, the tiny machine suddenly awakened, its complex internal gears clicking perfectly into place. The creature projected a beautiful, shimmering blue holographic map, showing a massive secret body of water hidden beneath the rock. I stared in absolute amazement, realizing this tiny artifact was a golden ticket out of this burning underground mechanical hell. But the beautiful light instantly triggered the ancient security sensors, bathing the entire mining cavern in terrifying red warning lights. Smashing violently through the solid stone walls came the wardens of the deep, a terrifying nightmare forged of pure copper. These massive, steam-powered mechanical predators were specifically designed to hunt down anyone daring enough to seek the forgotten surface world. I tightly grabbed the glowing turtle and immediately sprinted toward the darkest tunnels, my heart pounding faster than the engines. I sprinted desperately across dangerously narrow iron bridges suspended incredibly high above the violently roaring rivers of glowing red magma. The giant mechanical beast chased ruthlessly behind me, its heavy metal legs effortlessly crushing the thick iron pathways into dust. Hot, highly pressurized steam aggressively burst from the massive pipes around me, threatening to burn my tired, dirty skin alive. I quickly glanced backward, seeing its terrifying glowing yellow eyes locking directly onto the magical jade artifact in my hands. Realizing I was entirely out of running space, I bravely hurled my heavy iron wrench directly at a rusty valve. The pressure valve completely exploded, aggressively unleashing a blinding, incredibly thick white wall of superheated steam into the narrow corridor. The mechanical monster screeched in digital agony as its optical sensors failed miserably in the thick, confusing, burning white fog. Using this perfect distraction, I gracefully slid right into an incredibly narrow, dark ventilation shaft leading deep into the unknown. I crawled rapidly through the dusty metal tunnels, guided only by the soft, beautiful green light of the magical turtle. Terrifying metallic screeching sounds echoed loudly behind me, reminding me that the giant mechanical hunters would absolutely never stop searching. Pushing through exhaustion, I finally reached a heavy, rusted metal grate at the absolute bottom of the secret eastern tunnels. The heavy grate fell open, violently dropping me into a colossal, entirely silent cavern that had been forgotten by time. Before me lay a massive, perfectly still underground lake. There was no burning magma here, only cool, peaceful, dark water. I slowly took off my heavy brass goggles. For the first time in my life, the air didn't smell toxic. The magical jade turtle in my hands enthusiastically shined a bright, beautiful beam of green light directly toward the lake. Sleeping silently in the dark water was a forgotten masterpiece, an absolutely giant steampunk submarine beautifully shaped like a whale. I walked slowly toward the majestic machine, its heavy brass hull covered entirely in ancient dust and thick green moss. This was the legendary brass Leviathan, an ancient marvel built long ago by the original creators to navigate the oceans. Without hesitating for a single second, I aggressively climbed the rusted iron ladder attached to the massive, cold brass hull. I forcefully spun the heavy, circular metal wheel, aggressively throwing open the top hatch of the incredible underwater vessel. I dropped safely into the dark, incredibly complex cockpit, surrounded entirely by thousands of beautiful brass gears and dusty windows. In the absolute center of the main control console, I noticed a perfectly shaped slot waiting patiently for a key. With trembling hands, I gently placed the glowing jade turtle directly into the slot. It clicked perfectly into place immediately. Instantly, bright golden lights enthusiastically illuminated the entire cockpit, aggressively waking the massive ancient ship from its eternal slumber. Massive internal brass gears violently spun to life, shaking the entire submarine with an incredible, powerful roar of pure energy. The giant exterior searchlights aggressively pierced the absolute darkness of the underground cavern, beautifully illuminating the massive secret lake. But suddenly, the thick cavern wall violently exploded, aggressively raining heavy rocks as the nightmare finally caught up to me. The terrifying steam-powered centipede slithered aggressively into the deep water, swimming straight toward the submarine like a giant metallic snake. I'm absolutely not dying in this dark hole, I screamed, forcefully pulling the massive, heavy brass main thrust lever. The massive rear propellers violently spun, aggressively creating a terrifying underwater whirlpool that pushed the giant submarine powerfully forward. The mechanical monster aggressively lunged forward, brutally biting down onto the incredibly thick glass window right in front of me. Its terrifying metal jaws violently scraped against the reinforced glass, desperately trying to shatter the window and drag me out. Thinking incredibly fast, I bravely slammed my dirty fist directly onto a glowing red emergency defense button on the console. Massive, violent electric shocks blasted aggressively from the outer brass hull, brutally shocking the metal beast with pure high voltage. The terrifying mechanical centipede released its grip immediately, violently sinking backward into the dark, endless abyss of the underground lake. Free from the monster, the Leviathan dived powerfully into a massive, ancient underwater tunnel, racing rapidly toward the absolute unknown. I held onto the brass steering wheel for my life as violent turbulence aggressively shook the massive submarine's metal frame. We aggressively sped through the completely pitch-black tunnel, the incredibly powerful engines roaring louder than any machine I had known. The magical jade turtle shined brighter than ever, its beautiful holographic map pointing directly toward the ultimate surface of the world. A massive, solid white limestone wall suddenly appeared directly ahead. I didn't slow down. I pushed the engines beyond maximum. With an incredibly deafening crash, the mighty Leviathan violently smashed straight through the solid rock barrier, shattering the prison forever. The massive submarine aggressively erupted from the water, violently breaching the surface into an absolutely breathtaking, infinite world of light. Crystal clear water cascaded beautifully up the shining brass hull, reflecting the warm, incredible rays of a bright, brilliant sun. I slowly pushed open the top hatch. The intensely bright, warm sunlight completely flooded the dark cockpit for the first time. I carefully climbed out onto the wet deck, my tired eyes widening in absolute disbelief at the magnificent, endless horizon. There was no toxic smoke, no magma, no wardens, only a beautiful, endless blue ocean and white birds flying freely. I slowly took off my heavy goggles and threw them into the sea. A gentle, warm breeze brushed against my face. I slowly took off my heavy goggles and threw them into the sea. A gentle, warm breeze brushed against my face. I was born in the dark, but today, I am finally a child of the sun. The journey has just begun.